Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skate Down. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. So, it's the New Jersey Devils versus the Carolina Hurricanes in round one of this series, so I want to talk about that in this video. Looking at these two teams, they're evenly matched. They met each other 4 times this year. They split the season series 2-2, so which way will it go? In this video, I want to talk about both sides, who I think may win, so please stay with me throughout. So, the New Jersey Devils and the Carolina Hurricanes, they split the season series 2-2 out of 4 games. Looking at, numbers on both sides, the goals for were in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. They finished with 3.21, 9th overall. The Devils finished with 2.96, 17th overall. Goals allowed, the Devils had the edge in this one. The Carolina Hurricanes finished 2.70, finished 8th overall. The Devils finished 2.64, 6th overall. Looking on the power play, I think specialty teams is going to play a huge factor in this series. Looking at the power play, 18.6% for the Carolina Hurricanes. They finished 24th overall. The Devils, 27.9%. They finished 3rd overall. So, if they can get the power play and really take it to the Hurricanes, that'd be a huge factor in this series. Penalty kill. This is such a strong suit for both these teams. The Carolina Hurricanes, 84.9%. They finished 1st overall in the league. The Devils with 82.6%. They finished 3rd overall. And the Carolina Hurricanes have been known of the two teams to be better 5-on-5, so that's when they'll really try to strike against the Devils. So hopefully the Devils can contain them in this series. So, looking at the Carolina Hurricanes side, looking at their leaders, Sebastian Aho finished with 74 points. Goals, Seth Jarvis finished with 32. They had 4 players hit the 20-plus goal mark. Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, Roslovic, and Svechnikov. Looking at what they've added this year, they made a huge trade to bring in Rantanen. We all know what transpired with that. They traded him for pieces, including Stankhoven, who's on their team now. They brought in Taylor Hall in that trade as well for a trade when they got Rantanen. So those are the 2 big adds for this team. But they lost Nichas and Rantanen. So, looking at their lineup, the defense and their goaltending is their strong suit. Looking at a defense that includes Jacob Slavin, Gostisbehere, Brett Burns, Orlov, Chatfield, Walker, and Akishin's another one that they brought in when his season finished with the KHL. So I'm curious to see how he integrates with their lineup going into the playoffs. But looking at their goaltending, they have Freddie Anderson and Kochetkov. Anderson, to me, is a huge question mark. We've seen what he's done with the Toronto Maple Leafs and with the Carolina Hurricanes. So can he get over the hump and have them win a couple of series? So the goaltending, to me, is a huge question mark in the series. I give the edge to the Devils in this. I like Markstrom and Allen, but they have to play strong. They can't let in soft goals. They have to be players that steal games for this series. The Devils improved their defense and goaltending, so that has to show in the series. The Carolina Hurricanes have been a team that can score. We've seen what they've done all year. They've been a really consistently good team, top of the Metro for a long time, top 3 teams, and this is a team that can really just win games, but they have question marks, and can the Devils get to that is the question mark. And looking at their forward group, they have Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, Blake, Taylor Hall. Jesperi Kotkaniemi is a player that is a fucking pain in the ass. He is one of those players. I've been a Devils fan since the early 90s. We've had those players over several teams that have just been a thorn in Devils' side. Kotkaniemi, to me, is one of those players when he was with Montreal and he was with the Carolina Hurricanes, always seemed to produce and be a pain because you pay attention to all these star players. He gets lost in the wind. It always seems to produce. So him and Martinook, to me, were 2 players that were huge thorns in our sides 2 years ago in the playoffs. The Devils have to contain these players or keep an eye on them because they're those depth players that can really help take over a series. They got Svechnikov. He's a big forward who can produce, has size, skill. He battles and competes, so keep an eye on him. Jordan Staal, same thing. Stankhoven, Robinson, Jankowski, and Roslovic to round out their roster. So they have a deep forward group that the Devils really have to contain. I think depth, I lean more towards their forward group in regards to I'd give the edge to the Carolina Hurricanes. But, we'll see. Looking over to the Devils side, their leaders in points Jesper Bratt with 88. Goals, Nico Hischier with 35. They had 5 players hit the 20-plus goal mark. Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, who we're not going to see in this series. He's had that injury, and he's ruled out for the rest of the season, so that sucks. But we all know what's happened. A lot of players have stepped up in his absence and have really produced well. Timo Meier, Stefan Noesen, Jesper Bratt, and Dawson Mercer was 1 goal away from the 20-goal mark. He had 19, so he's another player that can produce for the Devils. Looking at their forward group and their lineup, the way it's been the past 2+ days, with Amanda Stein reporting and others who report for the Devils, it's been line 1, Noesen, Nico, Bratt. Line 2, Holla, Mercer, Meyer. Line 3, Cotter, Glass, and Sprong, which I do like. When they were first put together, I liked the chemistry these 3 players had, so hopefully we can see that in the playoffs. They elevate their game. Then 4th line with Palat, Dowling, and Bastian. On defense, there's Luke Hughes, Brett Pesce, Dumoulin, Kovacevic, Dillon, and Hamilton has returned back to the lineup. So, this can go either way. For me, I want to go what everybody's saying with the Carolina Hurricanes, but in my heart, I want the Devils to win this series. I've been a Devils fan for a long time. I hate the Hurricanes because they always play us tough. They're a great team, but they're well coached. They play a sound system against us, and they're a team that always seem to have the edge against us. But I feel like it'll shift this year. For me, if the Devils can play like the Devils of old, the Devils of old didn't have too many star players. Years they did, but a good majority of those years, they played as a team. They played as a consistent unit who played a certain style. They branded their play mostly on defense and goaltending, and that's how they won games. They buckled down. They had solid defense, great goaltending, and they scored timely goals, and that's exactly what the Devils have to do this year. We don't have Jack Hughes to help us generate offense. Tom Fitzgerald didn't do too much at the trade deadline, brought in some pieces, but not players who are going to be like, oh, they're going to produce in the playoffs. We don't know how this team is going to play. He's done a lot of overhaul, but he's brought in the essential pieces that we need in Stefan Noesen and Paul Cotter, on forward to help with the gritty, tough play. We've seen how many hits Cotter had this year. Noesen plays with an edge, and Noesen and Pesce were previous on the Carolina Hurricanes, so that helps our cause out this year. But, these are 2 teams that are kind of evenly matched. I give the edge to the Carolina Hurricanes because they've been a team who have been consistently in the playoffs. They're year in, year out. You know what to expect from them. They're a team that wants to get over the hump, but they can't. So, hopefully the Devils can play a sound system. They can take it to them. It's going to be tough, though. The Carolina Hurricanes are a team that, like 2 years ago, we couldn't generate anything against them. It was a different Devils team at the time and a different Hurricanes team, but that series just sucked to watch. They completely obliterated us, and we couldn't get anything going. So, hopefully it's a different thing this time around. I want to say Devils will win this series, but I think the Carolina Hurricanes will win in 6 or 7, but if the Devils can stick to a structure, play well, get solid goaltending, don't give up those goals that bury us, and then you get that steamroll effect that has happened this year. If the Devils played with more consistency, if we saw more consistency in net, I'd say the Devils will win the series, but it's a huge question mark to me. If the Devils can go into Carolina, steal a game or 2, and go back to the Rock and play well in their 2 games, it can be a different series. The Devils can win the series, but to me, it's tough when the Devils go to play in Carolina. They always seem to play a tough game against us and win a good majority of the time. So it's going to be tough, but we'll see what happens with this. It's going to be a tough series either way. I don't believe it's going to be a sweep or go 5 games. I think it's going to go 6 or 7, but we'll see what happens. In my heart of heart, I want to say that the Devils will win this series, but it's going to be tough. Just the experience alone of this team getting in the playoffs is a win. For us Devils fans, we're not expecting them to go far, but we hope they can. But, it's just a matter of gaining playoff experience all through the roster and, gaining that for the next year when we have a healthy Hughes, when we have better offense. To me, our our depth on forwards is really going to be that cause for concern going through the rest of this playoffs if they can get past the Hurricanes, because you have those teams in the East that are really, really deep, and it's going to be hard for this team to contend. But we'll see. When the playoffs start, it's a new season. Everything goes back to zero for every player, every team, and whatever team plays the best and plays their structure and outplays the other team can win. So we can see anything happen in the playoffs. Any team can get hot. Any player on each team can get hot and steal a series. Any goaltender can get hot and steal a series. So hopefully it's on the Devils' side with this. So comment below. What do you think about this series? Who do you think will win and come out on top in the series of New Jersey Devils versus the Carolina Hurricanes? Comment below and let me know. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so, and subscribe to the Hockey Skate Down. It's free, and join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe. Let's go Devils.